I'm Emily Harper, a 30-year-old who thought she had a rock-solid bond with her mom until it crumbled under the weight of betrayal. At my mom's wedding, her voice rang out, toasting her stepdaughter, Claire, as the genius behind the perfect day, while I sat there, invisible, my heart shattering. I'd poured months of sweat, tears, and my own savings into planning every detail, all to reconnect with Mom, only to watch Claire steal the credit with a smile. This isn't just about a wedding gone wrong, it's about fighting to be seen, confronting lies, and finding strength when family lets you down. Stick with me through this raw, emotional journey, because the twists of heartbreak, courage, and redemption will keep you hooked, and if you've ever felt erased by someone you love, this story will hit you deep. Growing up, Mom, Susan, now 55, was my best friend. We'd spend Friday nights curled up with popcorn and old movies, laughing over coffee at our favorite diner, sharing dreams and secrets. She was a single mom for years, and our bond felt unbreakable. But 3 years ago, she met David, 58, a kind but reserved widower with a 25-year-old daughter, Claire. As Mom and David grew closer, I felt her slipping away. Claire, with her polished charm and effortless beauty, became Mom's new focus. Our movie nights faded, replaced by Mom gushing about Claire's job, her style, her everything. I tried to shrug it off, telling myself it was just Mom embracing her new family, but the sting of being sidelined grew sharper. When Mom and David got engaged, I saw a chance to rebuild our connection. "Emily, I want the wedding to be a surprise," Mom said, her eyes sparkling. "You're so good at this stuff. Plan it. Make it magical. I trust you." Her words felt like a lifeline, a way to prove I still mattered. She didn't want to be involved, insisting the stress would overwhelm her, so I took on everything, promising to keep it secret to preserve the magic. I threw myself into the planning, convinced this would bring us back together. What I didn't know was that Claire was weaving a different story, claiming every ounce of my work as her own. The months before the wedding were a blur of chaos and sacrifice. My job as a graphic designer was demanding, but I carved out every spare moment for the wedding. My apartment became a war zone of vendor contracts, fabric swatches, and color-coded spreadsheets. I scoured the city for the perfect venue, a charming garden hall, and when they double-booked us with a corporate event, I spent hours on the phone, begging and negotiating to secure it, at a higher cost. The florist called one morning to say, Mom's favorite peonies were out of season, so I drove to 3 suppliers to find a substitute that matched her vision. I hand-designed the invitations to save money, folded ribbons for 150 chairs, and curated a menu of Mom's favorite dishes, even splurging on a tasting to ensure perfection. Every decision was a labor of love, funded by my savings, which took a painful hit. Late nights bled into early mornings, and I skipped meals, fueled by coffee in the hope that Mom's smile on her big day would make it worth it. Mom never asked about the planning. No questions about the flowers, the catering, or even the dress code. At first, I thought she was just excited for the surprise, but her silence felt odd. I brushed it off, too buried in work to dwell. Then, a few weeks before the wedding, I overheard a conversation that should have been a red flag. I was in the kitchen, scribbling guest list notes, while Mom and Claire chatted in the living room. "Claire, you're a lifesaver with this wedding," Mom said, her voice warm. "I don't know how I'd have managed without you." Claire's laugh was light, almost too perfect. "Oh, it's nothing. I just want your day to be perfect." My pen froze. What was Mom talking about? Claire hadn't lifted a finger. Then Mom's voice softened. "I'm so lucky to have a stepdaughter like you. I thought Emily was handling it, but you're clearly better at this." My throat tightened, but I convinced myself it was a misunderstanding. Maybe Claire was helping in some small way I didn't know about. I didn't confront them. I was too deep in planning and too desperate to believe Mom still trusted me. The wedding day was flawless. The garden hall glowed with fairy lights, the tables adorned with my carefully chosen centerpieces. Mom walked down the aisle, radiant, and I felt a flicker of pride, thinking my work had made this moment possible. At the reception, the air buzzed, with laughter and clinking glasses. Then Mom stood, tapping her glass for a toast. "I want to thank everyone for being here," she said, her smile wide. This day is a dream come true, and I wasn't involved in much of the planning. Thankfully, I had someone who made it perfect. My heart leapt, foolishly expecting my name. To Claire, she said, raising her glass. You've been my rock, making every detail magical. I couldn't have done this without you. The room erupted in applause. Claire, seated nearby, gave a modest smile, nodding like a queen accepting her crown. I froze, my chest tightening as if the air had been sucked out. Not a word about me, not a glance. Tears pricked my eyes, but I forced a smile, clapping along, my hands heavy. Claire's eyes flicked to mine, a smug glint in her gaze, and I knew she'd planned this. The rest of the night, I was a ghost, smiling through the pain, dodging questions about my role in the wedding. I wanted to scream, to tell everyone. I'd done it all, but I couldn't ruin Mom's day. I left early, the weight of betrayal crushing me. For a week, I stewed, replaying Mom's toast, Claire's smirk, the applause that should have been mine. When Mom returned from her honeymoon, I couldn't hold it in. I went to her house, finding her unpacking, still glowing from her trip. Mom, we need to talk, I said, my voice sharp. She frowned. What's wrong, Emily? You don't look happy. The words spilled out. What was that at the wedding? I planned everything, every detail, every dollar, and you gave all the credit to Claire. She didn't do anything. Mom's face hardened, her warmth vanishing. Emily, this jealousy of Claire is ridiculous. She worked hard to make my day special. She cared. My jaw dropped. Jealousy? Mom, Claire lied to you. I booked the venue, the flowers, the catering. I paid for it all. She just took credit. Mom laughed, dismissive. Stop it, Emily. I asked you to plan, but you didn't step up. Claire knew how important this was and made it perfect, not you. Her words were a knife. She lied, Mom. You believed her without even asking me. She crossed her arms. Claire wouldn't lie. You're upset because she outshone you, and that's on you. Tears burned my eyes. You're wrong, I said, my voice shaking. And one day you'll see it. She waved me off. Leave, Emily. I won't listen to you badmouth Claire. I walked out, the door slamming behind me, her loyalty to Claire cutting deeper than I thought possible. The next day, I couldn't let it go. The betrayal fueled me, and I drove to Claire's apartment. She opened the door, her smile saccharine. Emily, what a surprise! I didn't smile back. We need to talk. She stepped aside, casual as ever. Sure, come in. I faced her in her pristine living room, the air thick with her cloying perfume. Why did you tell Mom you planned the wedding? Her smile didn't waver, but her eyes flickered. Guilt, maybe. What are you talking about? She said. All innocence. Don't play dumb, I snapped. You let her believe you did everything when it was me. Do you know how hard I worked? She laughed, brushing her hair back. Emily, I didn't tell her anything. She assumed I was helping. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I didn't correct her. I glared, my blood boiling. You sat there at the reception, soaking up the credit, letting her ignore me. That wasn't an accident. She crossed her arms, her smile turning cold. Look, it's not my fault she trusts me more. Maybe if you'd been more open about your work, this wouldn't have happened. Her words were a slap, and I stepped closer, voice trembling. You knew what you were doing. You wanted the spotlight, and you didn't care who you hurt. She shrugged, unfazed. If it's such a big deal, talk to her. It's not my problem if she thinks I'm better at this. I stared, disgust rising. You're pathetic, Claire. The truth will come out. I stormed out, slamming the door, my resolve hardening. She wasn't getting away with this. Claire's birthday party was a week later, and I wasn't invited. My brother Jake, 32, told me it was a big bash. Claire's friends, her boyfriend, Ethan, Mom, David, the whole family. The thought of them celebrating her while she basked in my stolen credit made my stomach churn. I sat at home, staring at a folder stuffed with proof, receipts, emails, texts, every shred of evidence that I'd planned the wedding. I'd had enough of Claire's lies stealing my work, my mom, My place in the family. I grabbed the folder, threw on a coat, and headed to her apartment, my heart pounding with purpose. The party was in full swing when I arrived, laughter spilling into the hallway. I knocked, and Claire opened the door, her smile freezing when she saw me. "Emily," she said, voice tight. "What are you doing here?" "Crashing the party," I said, stepping inside. The room fell silent, eyes turning to me. Mom sat on the couch, drink in hand, while Ethan stood by a towering cake, confused. "Everyone," I said, my voice steady, "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to set something straight." Claire shut the door, her face pale. "Emily, this isn't the time." "It's exactly the time," I said, opening the folder. "For weeks, I've watched someone take credit for my work on Mom's wedding. It's time the truth came out." Murmurs rippled through the crowd as I held up a receipt. "I booked the venue," I said, showing the contract with my name. "I chose the flowers, hired the caterers, paid for every dish. Here's the invoice for the centerpieces, the email chain for the decorations, the texts for the seating chart. All me, not Claire." The room was silent, the weight of my words sinking in. Mom's face froze, her eyes wide. I turned to Claire. "Go on, Claire. Tell them how you let Mom believe you did it all. Tell them how you took the applause at the reception for work you didn't touch." Claire stammered, "It's not like that. I didn't lie, I just didn't correct her. It wasn't a big deal." "Not a big deal?" I said, voice rising. "I worked myself to death while you stole my place in Mom's heart. You didn't care what it did to me." Ethan stepped forward, his face dark. "Claire, is this true? Did you lie?" She turned to him, panicked. "Ethan, I didn't—" "Just tell me," he cut in. Her cheeks flushed. "Fine," she snapped. "Yes, Emily did it. But it was just one day. It doesn't matter." Gasps filled the room. Ethan's jaw tightened. "It matters to me. If you'd lie about this, what else are you lying about?" "I'm done, Claire." He grabbed his coat and left, her face crumpling. I turned to Mom, her eyes teary. "I tried to tell you," I said softly. "I did this for you, and you wouldn't listen." She choked out, "Emily, I didn't know." "I'm so sorry." I nodded, firm but gentle. "I just needed you to know the truth." I gathered my folder and walked out, the silence behind me deafening. For the first time, I felt free. 2 days later, my phone buzzed with David's name. He rarely called, so I answered, curious. "Emily, it's David," he said, his voice heavy. "I owe you an apology for what Claire did." I softened. "You don't have to apologize for her." "I do," he said. "I raised her better, or thought I did. When I heard what she did at the party, I was ashamed. You didn't deserve that." His sincerity hit me. "Thank you, David. That means a lot." He sighed. "She's paying for it now, but that doesn't fix your pain. If I can do anything, tell me." I paused. "Just talk to her. Help her. Understand why this was wrong." "I will," he promised. "And I'm sorry, Emily." I thanked him, a weight lifting. In the weeks that followed, things shifted. Mom called repeatedly, apologizing with raw regret. "I should have asked you," she said, voice breaking. "I was wrong." I accepted her apology but set boundaries. Trust would take time. We started rebuilding, slowly, with coffee dates where she listened instead of assuming. Claire faded from the spotlight. Ethan didn't return, and friends distanced themselves, her lies exposed. She was quieter, humbled, and I felt a twinge of pity, but only a twinge. I focused on myself, picking up painting, reconnecting with friends, and setting boundaries that guarded my peace. The truth had set me free, not just from Claire's lies, but from the need to prove my worth. I was enough, and for the first time, I believed it.